Welcome to Shelor Select. The whole system will be ready in a few minutes. Take your seat and enjoy.
Alright. Anyway,
Oh,
now we got it going, John. We're back.
and we're back.
Anyway, in case you didn't know, I think I messed up the recording there, but we're sipping on our whiskey, and yeah, there it is. We got a little random question generator going on.
Yeah.
And the first one was, you want to go ahead and say your first question was?
The most historic thing that ever happened in your lifetime, and you said 9/11.
Yeah,
Like,
9/11.
that was solid.
Yeah, 9/11. Again for I was 10th grade, 9th or 10th grade, and I walked into my English class, and I remember it was teachers had a TV on, and we saw the smoke come from the World Trade, but I was just like, I have no idea what the hell's going on. I don't even know what the World Trade Center is, and
I couldn't have told you what city or state it was in before that day.
I don't think I could have either, because we didn't really travel that much when I was little anyway, and if we did travel, it was only to like either the beach or Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, or whatever. But
Oh yeah.
yeah. So anyway, yeah. But I remember like I don't know what this is or what's going on, and then but I remember like as the day came out, everyone was like freaking out, saying, "Oh, we're going to go to war," and I remember being a little worried about it, and like how are we going to retaliate and.
Right. Who we going to war with?
Yeah, I was
terrorism.
That's all we knew. I was like, who did it? Like, how they fly? Or I just thought first that a plane just flew in it randomly, but then when it came out, the Pentagon, Pennsylvania, and was there one more plane? Was there 4 or 3?
So there's 4, two at the World Trade,
2 at the World
one
Trade
Pentagon, and one in
Pennsylvania.
yeah, field in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, like the not the crew, but the people on the plane kind of took it over, sort of helped out.
Yeah, they forced it to land early, so that it like everybody on the crew died, but they landed in the field as opposed to another historic building.
Yeah, and then like you said, like the Pentagon, you want to tell that part?
Oh,
the conspiracy theory.
Conspiracy theory. So you look at pictures of the Pentagon, and there's this big smoking hole in the side of the Pentagon, but it's like if a plane hit it, why would there not be any imprints of the wings? Why would it just be a hole there? So it was interesting. Maybe the wings broke off. Maybe magic from cameras. You never know.
Well, did it ever come out saying that they did find the wings or anything like that? Or
No. No, they're like, oh no, we fixed the hole, moving right along. Nobody wants to talk about the fact that it was 2 months around the same time that the armed forces were going to explain where at least $1 trillion was missing.
Okay.
And all of a sudden 9/11 happened and we didn't care. There's always the interesting timings, like
I didn't wait. Talk about this. I don't think I knew about this.
Oh, so
we were missing $1 trillion.
Oh, so the military budget, there had been over $1 trillion was missing, and they're like, well, where is it? And I'm like, oh well, oh God, 9/11. We never found out. And it's always these things that are interesting to see the shuffling happen on. So you'll get, I think Barack Obama was like, we shot Osama bin Laden. It's like, wait, didn't we do that the same day that Wikipedia released the Gitmo files? And we wanted to cover that up because nobody looked at it. And the Wikipedia guy was pissed, especially when he lost Person of the Year to Mark Zuckerberg.
Wait, is that the WikiLeaks stuff? The
Yeah,
Gitmo files?
WikiLeaks.
God, I forgot all about that.
Dude, yeah, because the only way you cover up a big story is with a bigger story. So we've been sitting, I think the intel was 3 or 4 months. We knew where Osama bin Laden was. And all of a sudden it's like WikiLeaks is going to hit and tell all the terrible things we've done. And Barack Obama's like, make it happen.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, he gone.
Well, here's a random question. So when we killed Osama bin Laden, we threw him in water, right?
So I heard that there was a Navy burial at sea.
Okay.
In order to not have a place for people to go to, in order to kind of have the martyrdom kind of dissipate. So it's like, oh, he was killed at this location. So people go there, it's like, oh, he's a martyr. He did a lot of things, and they want to, go and support his vision after the fact. So I'd heard that, but I didn't know if that actually happened.
Well, yeah, I mean, they did show a video of them dumping a body into the ocean, but for some reason I thought that was somebody told me one time that's how they wanted to be buried. Like when I say they, like his faith or whatever,
Yeah,
Muslim.
I
I don't
think
know
it
if
was that guy that knew where that $1 trillion went. That buried him too, you know.
but yeah, I don't. I think they just kind of did that just to get rid of him and not really, like you said, not have a site for him and people go to, and that would make more
Right.
sense. Because there's no telling what would happen if people actually knew where he was buried at. So
Right.
I don't know if that's kind of weird.
It's crazy stuff.
I don't know.
Man.
I haven't really thought about that a lot, so I don't know if a lot of that may even made sense. But I don't know. I haven't thought about. I haven't even thought about all this in years though.
Well, I mean, we've had a major event happen almost every month, and we spoke about it in our last chat.
Yeah.
How every single month in 2020 was something crazy. 2021, we get a brand new slew of people who are deciding that things got to change.
Yeah, we're already starting 2021 with a big month of the Capitol riot.
Yeah, the armed forces did send out an official letter, and it was each one of the branch leaders said that they will support a peaceful transition and that they will uphold the Constitution. It's a preemptive but powerful statement to be like, look, it's done, and the armed forces aren't going to put up with this. But it's what it is.
You think Trump just ruined himself?
I mean, he didn't have any help the whole time, and then at the end, he just melted down. And what do you do? Like,
I mean,
you see a guy like that, and it's sad.
Yeah, I mean, I read a few articles and stuff that there was a chance that not back in 2024 he might actually run again, and I think with this happening right there towards the end, I don't think he even has a shot anymore. It's just kind of like, all right, go on your way, man. You tried, but
well,
felt
if he
bad
gets,
for him.
Doubly impeached, the whole point of the impeachment is not to get him out of office with the remaining 4 days, but it's to make sure that he couldn't run again.
Okay.
Which, I mean, it would be interesting because if he ran as a third-party candidate, it might be the first time a third-party candidate got more than 5% of the votes. So
When you say third party, you mean like run independent?
yeah, so
Like what Ross Perot did a while back?
Yes, Ross Perot. Of course, you got the Libertarian candidate Joe Jorgensen. She ran. I'm trying to remember who the Green Party candidate was. Vermin Supreme runs every year. I enjoy him whenever he comes out. He's the guy who wears a boot on his head.
I don't remember.
He's actually. Oh, dude, I'll pull that up and shoot you a quick email.
Okay.
That's one thing nice about the video chat is we can
Screen
split
share.
screen.
Yeah, eventually I'd like to have this thing for when I post them on YouTube and stuff that, stuff we're talking about, actually put up a small picture, like especially if we're like sitting one-on-one together or whatever.
Yeah, man. I'm trying to see. I need to learn how to throw it up on my screen and just be like, check it out.
I have share screen, but anyway, it's not important. We don't want to give these viewers dead air.
Nah. So, all right. You hit me with the second question.
Okay, yeah, the second question. All right, that was a good first question, though. Get us caught fire here pretty early. What's the worst thing you've eaten out of politeness?
Yeah, and that was I went to my boy's house. He was my neighbor, and it was like the second time I'd really met his mom. And we had come out. We were playing some wrestling on the N64.
Oh, like WWE stuff or F, I guess back then.
Oh, back when it was still WWF and WCW. So we came out, and she'd made some chili, and it smelled kind of weird, but I thought because it was turkey chili, I was like, all right. So I was eating. I was like, stuff tasted awful. And you eat what's put in front of you in the South. So I was like, all right, I need some salt. So I started salting this thing, and I was just like, oh, God, I need some salt. Like, I just kept going. And my friend's older brother came in, and he grabs a bowl. He's like, what is this shit? And she goes, oh, I think the turkey might have went bad, but I still cooked it up. And he's like, Jesus Christ, look at him. Points at me. He's like, he's just covering this shit up with salt so we can eat it like they did in the medieval times. Like,
So. Ain't nothing wrong with no turkey chili, though.
I mean, turkey chili all right when the turkey doesn't go bad.
Oh shit.
Enough salt to kill anything,
That's true.
and
Back
whiskey.
back in the day, no, not back in the day, but when they used to store meat, they would just cover it in salt anyway, right?
I still do. That's how.
Really?
I mean,
They
yeah.
just don't put it in the
So
freezer? Oh.
salt cured anything that is cured meat.
Yeah.
Traditionally, actually, when I was growing up, as a side note, curing hogs. What you do is after you've slaughtered the animal and you have it ready and cut up for curing, you would leave the skin on the bigger pieces, but then you have the exposed meat section, like let's say a ham leg. And so you got the hoof goes up into the leg, but then you have where you've cut off at the hip. Well, you would take a mixture of it was salt, black pepper, molasses, and my aunt specifically liked using cayenne pepper, also a little pinch of that. And you would take the molasses and start rolling it up with the salt, and you want enough salt, pepper in that to where it almost, I want to say, like a fondant,
Okay.
if you're familiar with that sort of consistency, like
Mm-mm.
little bit thinner. It's well, anyways, it's thick enough to where it'll almost stand on its own, but thin enough to where you could rub it into the meat. And so what you do is you take it and you would rub it in to the exposed section, and it would cure that meat. And so you just leave it in a smokehouse outside of the sun, so you don't want to get it too hot. But you just left it in the smokehouse outside. Typically, it'll be a place that's kind of built into a hill, so that you can get some of that 52-52 action. If you're familiar with that,
Mm-mm.
50,
Yeah, dude,
52
I don't
inch.
know anything about any of this. You're going to have to
Uh,
educate me.
all right, so 52 to 52 inches under the grass line is when you start getting 52 degrees consistently for underground. So like when you go into a cave, you're like, man, it's so cold. It's like, no, it's
Yeah.
about 52 degrees, and it's at 52-52 rough rule.
Huh. I've never even heard of that.
Fun facts, man. Fun facts.
Damn, dude. So wait, so you grew up killing these hogs?
Yeah. Well, I didn't. I was like 4, so I
Oh,
didn't have to
okay.
do it. So
You just
I
saw.
was just there after when they're like, okay, want you to, you know, mix this up and then smack it on the hog a little bit. And it's like, okay. So
So you just kind of watched it being done.
yeah, watch it and then lay a hand on it because I was barely big enough to lift. I couldn't lift a ham leg because those were like 60 pounds.
Oh yeah.
But
Is this
it
something your
was
parents
fun.
did?
So it was my father's sister's family. So it
Okay.
was so I would go and stay with them while my parents were working. I'd be like, all right, it's time for the hog killing.
Oh shit.
Seriously.
Oh shit.
So but grew up in that sort of environment, and it makes you appreciate where meat comes from.
Yeah.
There was a I saw a snippet of I think it was like Hell's Kitchen or something, and Gordon Ramsay had all the chefs and all the chickens running around, and he's like, okay, you guys need to go and pick your chicken. And so everybody goes and they pick their chicken, and he says, okay, now you guys are going to need to kill your chicken. And all the chefs are looking around like, what the fuck is he talking about? And like he kind of waits, and they're like, I can't do this. And it's funny because it goes into that mindset of that girl that's like, I don't know why people kill animals when you can just get meat from the store. And he ties it in by saying, like, look, anytime you guys prepare a meal, especially a meat dish, something that was living died for you to prepare it.
For sure.
So you need to understand the gravitas of, like, it's not just fucking up a meal by burning it. You made this animal needlessly waste its life because you did a shit job of preparing your food.
Mm-hmm.
And it gave it was a very good sort of layering of expectations and responsibility.
Yeah.
Also, you could definitely tell none of those chefs were from the South because it'd be dead damn chicken in his hand. Like,
Yeah, it does make you appreciate that for sure. I mean, like when I was, thinking about this quarantine and pandemic, like what if it came out that grocery stores had to be closed or whatever, and then we actually had to go out and get our food ourselves. And I was like, I don't know how to clean anything or skin anything, and but
well, um, I mean, you learn quick. You take it breastbone down, take the genitals and stuff off, let the guts get. I mean, obviously, I'm kind of glancing over the heart parts, but you then you have to different animals have a different skin thickness,
Yeah.
so you have to, make sure you got a sharp knife. But even me knowing it, I've done it so few times. I would be like, well, it's going to be a little hairy when you eat it, but it is
It's
what
the
it is.
best you can do, but I guess you learn from doing it. But I've watched a couple videos of people doing it and trying to learn how to cook it myself and stuff. But yeah, it's an interesting process for sure, and something I need to probably should learn eventually, hopefully down the road.
One of the
I got a couple friends who know how to do it, and hopefully this winter I said I was going to get a deer and do it, but I never did, obviously.
dude, you got that bow.
Yeah, well,
So,
that's the part of the new hobby is, I'm going to start doing this now, and then down the road, I don't know. I've never really been a hunter, but maybe I would like to at least go try. I've tried it a couple times when I was little, and I just don't have the patience to sit outside in the cold, and I get too bored, and especially if there's no action. It's like, man, what the hell am I going to do? So
it's honestly, I didn't appreciate when I was younger. Now that I'm older, it's a good time to go out and meditate with your eyes open, but just kind of focus on the self, decompress from all the electronics,
mm-hmm.
getting away from it. And my only recommendation when you go hunting is take a camera or practice to be a good shot, because there's nothing worse than wounding an animal. Like, kill it and hit it where you need to drop it quickly, or just take a camera and take photos. There's people. Nat Geo is having people still make a ton of money going out and taking fresh photos of all sorts of wildlife, and
Yeah,
sometimes it's great for people.
yeah. There's an awesome Instagram page I follow called Nature's Metal. You ever seen it? But
Ah, dude, I'll check it out.
check it out, and it's just like a guy. He posts like a lion being attacked by a group of hyenas, but all of a sudden his bro comes in there and helps him attack them off, and it's just random shots like that. And
Right?
yeah, kind of going off what you said though, it's just like you kind of learn appreciate like if I don't shoot this animal, I mean, most likely it's either going to get brutally like I've watched a video of a bear being killed by
A
a deer,
bear.
a bear being killing a deer, and it was like I couldn't bear to watch it, man. It was just like, oh man, this poor deer, but whereas like a hunter or something actually shooting it instantly and I'm watching it go down and actually being used. I mean, obviously that bear ate, but man, it was just like, oh, I can't believe I'm watching this. It was terrible.
You see that? Think
It's horrifying. It's like, man, these animals are dying like that, as opposed to a clean
well,
kill from a hunter.
not every shot is clean. That's why I
Well, that's
say
true too.
it to be a good shot, because one of the reasons why the Virginia game wardens are very particular about the lack of spotlighting is because spotlighting, you don't get I mean, sometimes you can get the deer to freeze, but typically this is being done from trucks, people driving on the
Yeah.
road, they're shooting the animal, they just want to like shoot it and go. They're not even
It,
harvesting the animal.
yeah, it's just a sport.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
not.
it's not even a sport because they're not taking the animal and getting the horns. They're just gonna be like, hey, look, I did this. But they
There's
shoot them in the hips, and a deer can live for days, sometimes weeks, with a bullet in the hip,
yeah.
and it's just it's needless violence, man.
No, that page is actually showing like deers with like big gashes going down their backs and like they're walking and you can see their muscles moving as they walk, but it's just like fuck, these deers are fucking relentless, man. I mean, how they survive.
Dude, they got all they know is to survive.
Yeah, I mean,
So they can't-
animals are tough, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, they got that sixth sense, like you said. All they know is to survive and living out in -degree weather and still getting their food and whatnot. I mean, as opposed to like these two little dogs I have here, just wait on me to feed them feed them all day or whatever. Like if I put them out in -degree or anything at 32, they'll wouldn't know what to do.
They're like, what?
Yeah,
Like,
scratch at the door the whole time. What the hell, man? So.
I think part of that's a lot of people have gotten a very similar way. I guess we'll transition into that. Dave Chappelle, he's been on fire lately. Every
Dude,
time
I love Dave Chappelle.
he's seriously he's gotten his stride like Carlin did when he was older. When shoot, who am I thinking of? Played opposite of Gene Wilder. I can see. God,
What are you talking about? What movie?
Richard Pryor. Richard
Oh,
Pryor. Like, I mean, just that sort of level-headed, seeing the whole field, the geopolitical, the familial, every single piece of it. Like, Dave Chappelle's just nailing it, and it was in a minute. He explained, it's like, why did he quit Chappelle's show? And I think that a lot of people are in a similar boat with the big corporations and trying to start their own business and
Mm-hmm.
some of the dying of small business, especially with 2020. And he said in Australia, what the Bushmen will do is they're like, I need to find water. So what they'll do is they'll dig a salt hole. And what they'll do is they'll dig a hole and they'll put salt in it.
Okay.
And the hole will be just big enough for a baboon to reach its hand in there and grab the salt. Well, if the baboon tries to pull his hand out, it's stuck. It can't get its arm out, but it doesn't want to let go of the salt. And if it let go of the salt, get its arm out, but it won't let go of the salt. So what the Bushmen do is they'll go up and they'll grab it, and they'll take the baboon and they'll put it in a cage, and they'll feed as much salt as it wants. Well, all of a sudden now it gets really, really thirsty, and then they'll let it out, and the baboon will just beeline it to water. And the Bushman goes with the baboon and get the water. And he said, I was beginning to feel like the baboon, so I just let go of the salt. And I think that was a powerful message, being like, people have to understand that they're responsible for their own self-sufficiency. And it's difficult because there's so many things that you can do that you can grow and achieve inside of a corporation or a corporate world. But we also have a ton of small businesses that are growing and thriving on the internet in this, digital globalization that we have going on, and it's pretty good stuff. But stay humble, stay hungry, right?
That's what they
I
say.
stay hungry, trying to lose some of this hunger weight.
So you think we're going to see a lot of small businesses coming up through the internet in the future?
I think that there's a lot of small businesses will either change to a hybrid model. Like, you take all the fast food services. Burger King was universally laughed at. They were actually the first on the boat to, hey, call us up and we'll deliver you food. And people are
Okay.
like, why the fuck would I have Burger King delivered? Like, I would just go drive to it.
Right.
And now you've got Postmates. Matter of fact, I'll just pull it up and look at it. I got food apps on my phone for days
Yeah. What?
because
Postmates, Uber Eats, Grubhub.
Grubhub, which you said, DoorDash,
Yeah, DoorDash,
Grubhub, Postmates. What was the other one?
Uber Eats.
Uber Eats. So Uber, there's a company that started small, and they said we're going to do one thing well, and that's just get people to communicate. Well, Uber went from the golden child. The last couple of years have not been kind to them, and Lyft has done a good job of capturing some of their market. But Uber was like, look, we're gonna have people that have a need, they want to go somewhere, and people with cars who want to take them. And they got really good at that, and you're good, you're done. They're like, well, why don't we do that with trucks? So there's Uber does trucking. So they do, let's say you're a truck driver,
Mm-hmm.
and you just dropped off a load in California, you're getting ready to go to Washington or, you know, New York or wherever, but you don't have a load to haul. Well, you're having to drive back. That's wasted money and time on your behalf. Or let's say you're like, I need somebody to take a load from here to Arkansas. It's like, well, it's an hour out of my way, but I can do that. All of a sudden, boom, you're connected, you're moving, you're done. Then they had Uber Eats. They're like, okay, restaurants are doing this, and DoorDash and Grubhub were really the first pioneers of that. They saw what Uber was doing, and they're like, we're going to focus on food and do exclusive contracts with restaurants. And it's just grown from there, and that's a small and sometimes full-time side hustle. There's people who've quit their jobs just to be able to do Uber and drive around because it's consistent money. That you're going to be ferrying people at certain times. You get there, and it's less restrictive than the cab market was.
Yeah.
And you can do this in areas. There's never. I remember I would have given I'd have given my buddy's left testicle to be able to take a cab home when I was at Radford. I wouldn't have given
Dude,
mine.
yeah, when we had
But
this in college, we had Uber and stuff back then. It'd been a game changer.
we damn sure wouldn't have gotten near trains, trying to cross train tracks and stuff.
Trying to get crossed back home. It was just some good
Right.
times. Getting on
But
his
yeah,
hip, kicked by a train.
yeah,
Probably legal.
well, it's
We're
it's
just
considered a
kidding,
felony,
folks. We didn't
actually.
really do that.
It's a felony, but the statute of limitations 2 years. I found that out.
Oh,
So
really?
we're good. Yeah, so
Oh.
we're a decade past it.
Oh man, we're good to go. But
Yeah, but
yeah, another plus to that Uber Eats. So I mean, you can work when you want to, and you're your own boss, and you don't. And that's what a lot of people I think feel like nowadays. And you're out and about, and you're not confined to an office sitting under fluorescent lights and four walls. And
well, just imagine what it's like for a single parent to say, I'm taking care of my kids from this time to this time, but I want to be able to make a little extra money, something that doesn't confine me into a traditional job with hours that I can do and provide supplemental income.
mm-hmm.
And boom, you want to turn on your Uber app for an hour, you're in for an hour. You want to not turn it on, you're not under contract.
Yeah.
And it's provided some freedom, and I think that as we continue to move forward, services will be identified that you can do in a similar aspect. But, all right. I mean, we went hard in the paint.
Yeah. We went through two questions.
All right. How about you one more and me one more?
All right. I'm good with that.
All right. I'm gonna hit you up first. All right. Refresh. Oh Jesus. I mean, who did you look up to, but they screwed up and you lost faith in them?
Who did I look up to and they screwed up?
Yep, and you lost faith in them.
And I lost faith in them.
Man, I'm getting these existential questions here. It's
yeah. Oh man. I guess. Well, probably when I start. Let me rephrase this. So the first one that comes to mind is when growing up, when the Bulls, Chicago Bulls, were the '90s team.
Huh.
Yeah, and then they had Michael Jordan obviously and Scottie Pippen, and I forgot
Dennis
which.
Rodman.
Yeah, and I forgot which year it was, but Dennis Rodman came to town, and he was the new bad boy.
Right.
Well, he's always played with the Pistons, and he was like the bad boy era. But he was always this guy who had his own, separate mentality, and he didn't really care about being flashy and.
He was flashy.
Well, he was flashy, but he didn't care about
unique
scoring
to him.
points. Yeah, he didn't care about being the man. He just wanted to win. It seemed like,
Right.
but he always had off the court. He was always doing something wild and crazy, like going to Vegas and drinking and spending
And
money.
Madonna.
Yeah, Madonna, and who was the other supermodel back then?
I mean, Dennis Rodman was laying it down.
Yeah, and he never really screwed up, but he did screw up a couple times off the court where he would get fined or whatever. And I remember he even wrote a book. It was called "Bad as I Want to Be," and it was like he's dead naked on the front of the cover with like a basketball covering his dick. And for some reason I ended up with it. I don't know if I talked my mom into buying it for me or whatever, but I remember reading it, and it was all about his livelihood, and he had a hard life, but he never really screwed up. But he finally, I forgot how he left the Bulls or whatever. I guess they broke up, but I remember he was like one of the guys. Man, he was just such a cool guy, and on the court he was rebounding and just doing. He would go down the court and like shoot a three randomly, but he put in the work. And I don't know, maybe this is probably not the best answer for that question, but yeah, I remember liking the Bulls when I was when they were in their golden era right there, and he was one of the ones I looked up to, but he was also screwing up off the court. So
there you go.
But he was
it's like you.
Yeah, but he was an athlete and a half.
Right. He's doing the hustle, but you look at the back end and you're like, nah, man,
Yeah.
like this.
But
Not sustainable.
I've always looked up to players like that. I remember Michael Vick growing up, watching him at Tech, and I actually,
Woo!
I think, going to that's probably a better one right there.
Yeah, there it is.
Yep. I remember watching. Mom took me and my brother to a game, and it was when he was at Tech, and I remember we were sitting in the stands. I remember because he was the shit. Obviously, he made VT football, and I remember watching. Man, this is an athlete and a half, and just watching him play was just badass to me.
He was a physical quarterback,
Mhm.
like somebody that you're like, wow, this guy's not just taking the snap and throwing it. He's running with the ball,
Yeah,
he's making plays.
and he just made people look stupid when he was running down the field. It was just like, it was just so fun to watch, and I remember just like, man, yeah, I want to be like that when I'm older. But I guess that had been, I forgot what years he was playing. So that would have been like elementary or early high school for me, I think. But yeah, he screwed up pretty bad though.
I hear he has a thing about dogs.
Yeah.
He likes dogs.
And then I always liked Allen Iverson too growing up, and but he had some his problems off the court. But he was an athlete, but he never, he only screwed up a little bit. But it's kind of like
Yeah,
seems similar to Dennis Rodman. So
yeah. I think Dennis Rodman, Allen Iverson, they both kind of had a similar but their own vibe. Now, if you're talking about shit in the bed though, Vic, that's a
yeah,
proper because I mean he was a man for a lot of people for a lot of times, and
mm-hmm.
then it comes in, it's like, wait, you're doing what? And
Yeah. I mean, I'm
uh,
sure that still goes on nowadays, and
oh yeah, but
he just, but like even though he says what that's when he was growing up, that was kind of what he just thought how it was. Like that's he just thought that was life, like to have dogs fight and everything, and but it's just maybe that could be part of the aspect of growing up if you don't know any better. But you would think you would know some better, right? Or am I just
you
talking out of
well
my
you
ass here?
think, but it's the whole point of, and I'm going to try to find it. So
What are you looking for?
I'm looking for the African warlord that converted to Christianity. Yeah, General Butt Naked. All right, so I'm
General.
trying to remember what I was watching. So um, General Butt Naked is Joshua Milton. I'm gonna butcher this, and I'm sorry, Blani, and he was known as General Butt Naked. He grew up as a tribal warlord, and he was raised by a witch doctor, and they practiced human sacrifice, cannibalism of children. It was pretty rough stuff. He actually converted to Christianity, and I'm sending you this link so you can check it out
All right.
and post it at the bottom. And it's an interesting story, but it ties into that concept what you're talking about, where did you not know any better? And he's saying, and I can't remember if it's a Netflix documentary or whatever, but he was saying that it was just that's what was done. And it's easy to be able to judge people by the tilt and filter of how you understand and view the world and what's popular, what's not, your educational level. Um, but it's not always easy to be able to say, well, I get where they're coming from based on their exposure. And there's a lot of studies that say that SATs are biased based on the exposure that you get in school, home, your environment, that it's not necessarily able to help people who wouldn't know anything. Like it's just it's an interesting way of qualifying. I don't want to go into it. It's a very big study, and I'm going to do it no justice here today. But General Butt Naked, I sent you the link. If you would post it in the video,
Yeah,
I
for
think people
sure.
should check it out. It's interesting. All right, hit me with the question.
Yeah,
I'm ready.
I had a
I'm
couple
ready.
thoughts for it. All right. Let's see here. Next question. That one's too easy.
Oh, dude, am I getting the easy ones?
Yeah, this is just. This is not. This is like an icebreaker question. It ain't even.
go, go ahead and just. I want to
Where
answer
have
them.
you
Let you get.
traveled? I guess you can. I know you've traveled some
Shit.
good, decent
No, no,
places.
give me.
Yeah, but all right.
Yeah, no, I haven't. Like I'm getting the
Ooh.
ones. It's like, can you please tell me exactly what you were eating 3 years ago for breakfast on a Tuesday morning?
All right, I like this one. This would be a good one for you.
All right.
What movie universe would be the worst to live out your life in?
Ooh. Ooh. So it's movie, not series.
Yeah.
Um, to live your life in. Um, all right. And it all depends
I
on,
think I got a good one.
like, I'm trying to think. Because, like, I mean, the Harry Potters are cool because you got magic, unless you don't have magic. But if you don't have magic, then you don't know. Like, we could all be living in the Harry Potter universe. We don't have magic, so we don't know.
Yeah.
Um, Star Wars, you can travel around. That's pretty cool. Um, Mad Max, which may or may not be coming up in the near future.
That was my
Um,
first thing came to mind.
that one's rough, but at least people kind of have the basic needs hewn out, and even beyond that, like they've kind of figured out basic trade and culture. I would say from a movie perspective, Resident Evil 3,
Mm.
because
I haven't watched that
like
in a long time.
so you've got the virus has destroyed the entire world. You've got basically no ability to recreate food. So like all the crops are dead, all the animals are dead. You're basically just holding on for the sake of holding on.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the rest of the series or the redemption arc in which, things are getting better and, humanity's fighting back or whatever. But that one's truly at the point where it's like the only thing that they are doing is killing the people who are holding out and are responsible for the virus. But there's not a silver lining at the end of it. It's not like, oh, we did it. Now what? It's like, well, the ground's still dead, the water's still dead, and it makes you think about some of the things that are going on, globally. The Flint water issue because of it's either I'm trying to remember if it's Pepsi or Coke. I don't want to misattribute.
Yeah. Well, I know that what Flint. That's Flint, Michigan, right? They can't get clean water up there for whatever reason.
Yeah, and so what ended up happening is it's one of the big two, and I I'm googling it, and I'm trying to remember what happened. It was one of the large soft drink makers ended up saying we're going to pull water from the local water reservoir, and they can just get it elsewhere. And that's a terrible synopsis, but it ended up that you've destroyed one ecosystem and people's access to clean water and ability to live versus another one, and being able to produce your own bottled water.
Mm-hmm.
The irony is not lost on me. But you think about this, and this is happening in multiple locations. I know it was Nestle for India. So let me get that water issues 99 million lack safe water. So this is water.org. I kind of like the whole Zoom thing, because we're able to
Actually, look shit up while we can fact
yeah.
check it. Speaking of
Fact,
Indian stuff, last time we were talking about, I didn't mean to cut you off.
no, we're good.
Alibaba, right?
Yeah, Alibaba.
And now the CE is he the CEO? Jack Ha, is that his name?
Yeah, Jack Ma.
Jack Ma. Like
He's the former owner. So CEO is now Daniel Zhang.
okay. Well, apparently Jack Ma has gone missing for 2 months because he talked shit about the Chinese government.
Hook.
Yeah, and like they can't find him anywhere. And it was like
Dude.
him and like a couple other people or something.
I mean,
I read that out the other day, and I was like, man, this is just that's what me and John were talking about.
Dude, don't talk shit about
Yeah,
the
you
Chinese
don't.
government.
Yeah, dude. They'll come
Last
get
guy
your
that did
ass.
that lost an election. Um, but yeah, they're they're a powerhouse. Alibaba, let's see here, their revenue is sitting at 509 billion, so about $500 billion.
It's not bad. That's pretty good, I guess.
I mean, I could take a tenth of it and make some moves.
Live out some good old days on it.
It's actually now I've got to know how does AWS stack up? All right, let's see here. I'm not even seeing their income. I guess they don't want to share that. The Google doesn't know. Let's see the revenue.
Come on, Google.
Let me look it up. Oh, revenue calculator. Okay, net income is 11 billion. So let that sink in.
Fuck.
Alibaba Group has $500 billion. Amazon has 11.59 billion as of 2019. And now, of course, Alibaba is posting 2020 numbers, so we'll see how that goes. But you're looking at a very, very large company and a market with a lot of people. So
It's interesting.
all right, dude.
Well, you want to take this thing home?
Country roads, take me home.
Nice. Well, yeah, man, this was it was good talking to you again, and
Yes, sir. Appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, man, we had some good topics right there.
Let's do it. And yeah, the generator's fun. I don't know. Maybe if you'll have me on another time, we'll do it.
Oh, for
But
sure. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Makes you think and dive a little bit deeper. And like when we said 9/11, it's like, man, I haven't really thought about that in years. And
Oh,
so
can't
yeah,
shit we're doing with today, but
yeah, well, that's true too. It gets the brain firing a little bit though, and
yeah.
get you going. But so anyway, appreciate you doing this. Appreciate your time.
Likewise, enjoy being on, brother. We'll do it again.
All right, man. Cheers to you. Be safe and all that good stuff. Man, we are back for the post-show Shelor Select Party.
We've been bullshitting, but yeah. So again, unless you're talking about people doing CrossFit, I think that the guys and the girls who are doing the CrossFit are obviously going to be attractive. Unless it looks like they were hitting the face with a snow shovel, like then it's like, oh. But I mean, they're always going to be like pretty good shape. But here's a question. All right, you're a gentleman of beyond 30. All right,
I'm
let's,
coming
let's
up,
go with that.
coming up on the mid-30s.
Oh, coming up? Shit, dude, I'm gonna be over that mid 30 hurdle.
Oh, okay.
But
I didn't know you were older than me. I thought we were
I
the
didn't
same
know
age.
what. Yeah, right. I'm 35,
Oh,
36 in a month.
I'll be 35 in June. Damn. Okay.
Oh, shit, I didn't know. All right,
I didn't know that either. For some reason, I thought we were the same age.
I
Okay.
did.
Anyway.
Dude, I thought you were Matt's age. Matt's older than fuck. But no. So serious question. Like you're doing the CrossFit, you're living the life, and I was talking to my boy, the one I was talking about doing business with.
Yeah.
Um, do you see yourself transitioning more into the stretching and the low weight, high rep sort of like so? I mean, dude, when I was at Radford in my 20s, I do cheat curls. I did cheat curls with a 20-pound wristband and 110 in the dumbbells. Now I was throwing it up on my shoulder. My shoulders were huge. This is like I could take I mean, my girl Danielle, she was a $120. My friends were like between a $120, $130. I'd throw them up on my shoulder, carry them around like a
Right.
fucking parent.
Um.
And but I mean, do you see yourself like transitioning less from like the muscle gain and more of like the flexibility? Because man, I wake up and I hurt in the morning. So I'm like, that's a little stiff. Like,
Um.
stretch.
So, how much? I mean, like, there's a lot of different areas of CrossFit, and you can take it as far as you want it to be. You can make it what you want it to be, in my opinion. So,
Okay.
and as I get older, I am warming up more, and I'm also
Okay.
like I'm sitting here drinking a glass of whiskey, but I've also dialed in my nutrition more.
So it's whiskey neat, not like
Yeah, like
adding a bunch of shit.
no, if I had any soda or something, it's just like a Coke Zero or a Diet Coke, and I've cut I try to eliminate all sugar in my life.
Right.
But yeah, so like I used to be, and you can talk to anyone down at the gym. I would come in and just pick up the bar a couple times and work up to a heavy weight. And like, all right, that's all the warming up I'm doing. Let's roll, And
All right. Yeah, but I mean, you're stretching out. Like
yeah, so now I go through about 10, 15 minutes of just warming up. Dynamic movements is what I do. Stretching. Get in this kind of, just get my body ready for whatever we got on the ticket there. And the program we're doing now is I'm in and out of the gym by an hour with my workouts. Now anything extra I want to do is just on me, but James and I, we were competing pretty heavily there for a while, and we followed what was called Invictus Athlete, which is for elite CrossFit athletes trying to go to the Super Bowl of CrossFit. And,
All right.
We were down there training for 2 or 3 hours. And
you're hitting it in.
yeah, and so it's like, you do a big strength thing, trying to like a huge snatch, clean and jerk. And we bench, but not much. But it's like Olympic weightlifting movements, and you're trying to get strong at those, and you're doing like gymnastics type stuff. Then you might have to go run a 5K.
Is it weight moved per time, or is it more like form, or are you judged on all of it?
No, per time. So depending on like with CrossFit, it could be, you have 10 minutes to hit a heavy squat, clean and jerk, the heaviest one you can do. So it doesn't matter how you do it. You could pick it up, whatever. The ugliest way, like this is bad to say. It's not.
So you have 10 minutes to hit the heaviest weight. So if you hit the heaviest weight like 2 minutes in, you're like, I'm done.
Yeah, like I've done competitions and like well, usually when the competitions I do, the first workout is usually like hit a huge snatch, the heaviest one you can do in 10 minutes. And if you go out there and throw up 225 and just say, because that's big, and especially in the type of competitions I'm doing, like
Right.
people are going to be like, that's all you got to do, and you can sit there and chill, and you can just watch other people, and if they throw on 230, all right, let me throw up 235.
Oh, so you get the chance to like go back
Yeah.
in and
So it's 10 minutes. Like you can do 20 reps if you want to. You can do 5.
so
Like, it depends on
all
like
right.
whatever the workout is written as. It just depends how you want to approach it.
So I mean, so you're in your golden years. All right. And I want to say that because between 30 and 40, genetically speaking, men get their maximum muscle density and capacity.
Yeah.
So that's why when people are over 40, Tom Brady, um, they're like, okay, you're done, you're out. But you see a lot of people really doing like your 20s are developing the muscle memory and the muscle mass.
Mm-hmm.
And then your 30s are really kind of, targeting whatever muscles you want to do. Like, so for me, as I'm in my declining years, what is it that, like, are you focusing on either like hitting maybe a new weight record, like either your BMI or the amount of weight you're pushing, or are you looking to like be more self-controlled? And I'm saying this because like my aspect, I've done the heavy lifting, I've done a lot of moving, I've done a lot of moving too, but I'm really like, I think I'm good. I want to be flexible. I want to not ache. Like, are you feeling any of that yet? And this, of course, is like somebody that's doing a lot of active work versus somebody that does a lot of chair sitting.
No, I feel young still. Like, I go in there and, and a lot of the people I train with are, like we were talking about, I'm coming up on 35, but they're late 20s or right at 30. So I'm the old guy in the gym, and, I still feel like I'm trying to just be the big dog with the big dogs and not get off the porch, And
Well, I mean, do you feel like they're pushing you off the porch, or you're still
no,
like,
because I still hang with them, man.
You're like, no, we're good.
Yeah, so
comfortably, like,
no, I'm still on the porch running with them, and like with CrossFit, I'm not going to win every workout because I'm talking about these competitions, and I'm never the strongest guy by any means there. So like even though like for my body weight and what I do, yeah, I do pretty well, but there's also going to be some monster there who weighs 225 and he'll throw up almost
400 pounds.
Yeah, like a 315 clean and jerk, and it's like that's that's up there with elite status, and it's like what the fuck, and I'm over there like I hope I hit 260 today, and so
Right.
but like then like the cool thing is like we'll come up on a next workout and it might be bar muscle ups and gymnastics with maybe some light thrusters.
And you're just like, boop.
And that's my like because obviously me I roughly weigh I usually float between 165 and 170, then float into trying to do body weight movements with a big guy like him doing 240 or whoever.
Right.
But
It's different, It's Bruce Lee was extremely small, but I mean, pound for pound, killer.
yeah, he was a cool dude too. He was like one of the first ones like who took all the different martial arts and actually put them together, which is kind of what CrossFit does, and that's what
Jeet Kune Do, man.
Yeah, and it's just like this is kind of cool because he was one of the he's obviously was a pioneer for it, and maybe that's how MMA was born, just because he was the first guy like, hey, I'll just do everything. Because back in the day, it was just you either do jujitsu or karate or whatever. So what is the other? There's a bunch of other kung fu, I guess.
Dude, there's so many martial arts. You have Muay. Let's see here.
Muay Thai.
Muay Thai.
Muay Thai.
Krav
Maga.
Shit.
Forgot about that one.
Capoeira. I'm trying to think of the African martial art.
Yeah.
Because capoeira is more of the islands. But I mean, you have a martial art style for every section of the world because sometimes people just get tired of putting up with shit. It'll be interesting to see if there's the American fighting style that comes across, but I think it'll ultimately be.
I mean, kind of going back on
the manager.
Kind of going back on what you just said, though. I mean, like, look at LeBron James. He's 36 and still running with the big dogs in the NBA. and considerably might get MVP this year. He probably should have got it last year, but it's just a matter of votes or whatever. But
Right.
he learned like, all right, you got to take care of yourself, and you got to do. There's science to it. I mean, and as
Yeah.
technology gets better, we learn more and more about the human body and what it's capable of,
That's
and
why
like,
we're breaking records
yeah,
every year.
breaking records, and we're learning. Like, I mean, what's the average lifespan now compared to, I don't know, 30, 40 years ago?
I don't know.
I mean,
Pre or
what, like
post-COVID.
if you made it to 50, you were like, fuck, you're old. I hope you don't die soon. And now it's like, it ain't no thing to see it at 80, 90. Like one thing I told myself at one point is like, I wouldn't mind being a centurion and try to live to 100, but I want to be able to,
Function.
yeah, I don't want to be the guy just laying
So
around.
right now
And
it's 72.6 years. Let's see your global lifespan. We'll do our birth year, 1980.
this should be
Let's see
interesting.
here. Hold up, U.S. I don't give a shit about this. Come on. That's the problem with Google. Like you get a ton of information, but not the answer you want. 73.7. So it's went down.
Really? Is that because of COVID?
No. I think
Why would
it's
I? Well, I
because,
wonder why it would go down.
honestly, people were outside living their lives more.
So, I
My
mean,
opinion.
well, that's true too.
Let's see here. Let me do lifespan 90s then.
Where are you getting this information from?
Same place everything happens, dude. Google.
The old Google. That's interesting because I would think as time goes on that we get better and better as,
That's a theory.
well, yeah.
Is that we should improve.
Yeah, you would think our lifespan would get,
In 1990 it was 75.2. So let's see here. Now I got to know, dude. So we're still going up. Lifespan 2000s.
so I wonder if it's diet
Oh, dude, it might be.
because, as we got older and older, I mean, you can go to McDonald's and get a burger for $1.
Dude, we were just talking about how that horse shit is easily available. And I say horse shit as I support it and buy it, but it's it's processed food that goes through 3 layers. And average life, no, that's not right. There's no way. Quick stats. There we go. I want something that makes me happy and quickly.
Don't we all?
2000, in 2007, average life expectancy in the U.S. was 77.9 years.
When was this?
That's 2007 to 2010s. I mean, 72.6 years. And then in life expectancy, okay, current life expectancy in the U.S. in 2021 is 78.99. So I should have been not comparing global, but U.S. So I mean, shit, that's 80 years.
So 80 in the U.S. So
80,
you did
almost.
you did the first ones you were doing global.
Yeah. So you look at this sort of stuff and you're like, okay, how do we compare what areas are living longer, what aren't? And all this goes into the science of diet and nutrition. And the reason why I'm asking you why in the hell my shoulders ache in the mornings.
Oh, well, I mean, it could be a number of things. I mean, what is your diet like? I mean,
Oh, it's shit.
well, I mean, that's one thing I've learned, and I've also added CBD to my diet.
Yep.
Yeah, I like it. It's not for everybody, but
I do CBD when I'm like achy or whenever I want to kind of just ease off into an evening and not like, the THC. So people are like, oh, CBD is THC. It's like, no, it feels completely different. It's just like easing off and it doesn't make everything go away.
yeah.
It just makes it more tolerable. And I'm a huge believer in CBD. So you have CBD for normal aches and pains. You have CBG and CBN. CBN lets you sleep. Let me see here.
A lot of people say CBD stands for snake oil.
Well,
I don't know if that's I've heard it helps with inflammation, and that's
It
why I
does.
like it so much.
Yeah.
As far as anxiety and stuff like that, I'm not an
Well,
anxious person.
honestly, the THC does more with anxiety, and in my personal life, not me, but people that I've known have had great success being able to have a mixture of CBD, THC, and I say this through marijuana therapy, that they have gotten back to what would be considered normal. And
Hmm.
normal again is relative, but they've gotten to like a normal therapeutic level of I can function through my day. I am not anxious. I am not in pain. And it's it's one of those things that it's we've had 40 years of medical science being like we can fix this by doing this. Well, what about, going to any sort of CBD, THC derivative? No, we don't want to do that. But it works. No, we don't want to do that. And like 40 years of it, and finally like, well, what do you think about this? And we're like, maybe it's not the worst thing in the world.
Okay. It's
And
not. There's starting to be more studies of how it actually improves a lot of people, like people with arthritis and stuff.
right. And we don't have the 1970s. Um, we want to show that marijuana kills brain cells. Well, how do you do that? It doesn't kill brain cells. It only like kind of keeps them stationary. Well, you're testing on monkeys, right? Yeah. Well, figure out how you make marijuana smoke kill brain cells. And what they would do is they take these monkeys and they put them under a 80% marijuana smoke to 20% air for 16 hours. Well, of course, the monkeys came out retarded because they were oxygen deprived.
Yeah, for
Their
16,
their
20
brain,
hours.
yeah, and they're like, oh look, it destroys brain cells, and the government's like, look, we have proof, and it became the whole pogrom against any sort of hermetic natural remedy that Thomas Jefferson would have prescribed.
Well, when you're talking about your shoulders hurting and stuff, I mean, you said your diet's trash. You ever thought about the carnivore diet? Do you know what that is?
Well, as a man of measure, I'm familiar with damn near every diet. I like the carnivore diet. I like the keto diet for similar reasons, but I've considered vegan keto for a while, and that's just because like the carnivore diet, any of these, I guess carnivore is like Atkins Pro, right?
Mm-hmm.
You get these diets that are super fat saturated, and it's like, what am I doing to my arteries and intestines?
Mm-hmm.
And there comes a point, and it's super important, and they don't stress this enough. They're like, if you're going to start this diet, fucking stick to it, because if you do any of these meat, fat, rich, heavy diets for 2 weeks and don't keep with it, your body builds up the plaque and doesn't burn it out. And then they're like, well, you know what? I'm gonna have some crackers. I'm gonna have maybe I'll
Yeah.
cheat today, and it can destroy you internally. I think that they're great. I think that if you're a carnivore diet, like if you're going and doing the Viking thing, like getting up in the mornings, working out, eating the right stuff, and you're active, it's a good process.
Mm-hmm.
But so many of us are now living at home, sitting in front of I mean, right now I've got you and my two screens up at the top, and this is where I'm at 12 to 16 hours a day, sometimes 20.
So you're not even
And
getting out and about.
I mean,
So not
I've
only
got
your
a I
fit,
got a yoga mat, and it gets less use than my whiskey glass. But
so I mean, does that take a strain on you? I mean, for me, like I know in quarantine, when like I was fortunate enough to be able to still go to the gym and move around, but I don't get to go out on weekends and visit some breweries or wineries or anything. But still, my mental game, I could tell was taking, or it still is kind of taking a hurt or whatever you want to call it, because it's like fuck, like Saturday night, Friday night. It's like, guess I'll just
it's time
stay
to go out.
in.
It's like,
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
what are we
It's like,
doing?
hey, I thought we might go get a couple beers and some food, but it's like,
Well,
maybe we should not go. We can't go.
Well, I'm going to say
Eh,
this. I think
eh,
that our group of friends is the most mentally equipped to deal with that. And I say, like, not our age group. I'm saying our group of friends because ever since college, we've always been getting on Xbox. We've all been doing the gaming, hanging out, drinking remotely from our house.
Mm-hmm.
And we've transitioned most of us into relationships, marriage, single, etc. And it's always to a healthy point of like any of us could spend 100, 200 bucks a night just throwing back shots.
Oh, we've been at
But
the
when,
bars doing that, dude. I remember in
dude,
college that we
and
get.
put the hurt on it.
It's like, what the fuck? Oh God, that's
You wake
me.
up and you're like, like, oh,
Oh,
I didn't do it. I didn't do it. It's
somebody
different,
stole
man.
my card, man.
They stole my card and gave me a hangover. But but you get this, you know, we've been hanging out digitally and virtually for a long
That's
time,
true. That's a good point.
and I think that helps because we're, like we're not starved for social attention, and we understand that, yeah, it's fun to go to a bar and have, some dude or lady who has spent the last 6 years honing their craft create a superb cocktail and hand it to you
Mm-hmm.
for 15 bucks. Like that's great. I love that experience
I
of like,
agree.
let me put this under smoke the whiskey. I'm going to add this, I cut this particular fruit a certain way. I added the simple syrup we make in house, and then boom, done. Like whiskey sour, fantastic. But it also kind of sucks when you're like, okay, I just got 3 drinks for what I could buy homebrew
Uh
here,
huh.
and you weren't putting homebrew in there. You're putting in some Maker's Mark if I'm lucky, but
No, it's usually what Evan
or
Williams for house.
OEW,
Yeah, that's what it was. I remember growing up, Sharkies.
yeah.
But I
So
mean, yeah, you're paying for the experience, and yeah, I mean, it's a great time. I'm not knocking it by any means. I love going out and
no,
drinking, but yeah, you can do just
oh
enough.
shit.
Where you going? Where you
Keep
going?
keep talking. I forgot I've been slow roasting some mushrooms.
Oh, some psilocybin.
Yeah, well, the problem, not psilocybin, the problem is I've been cooking mushrooms for the last 4 hours, like miso and mushrooms.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna end up, yeah, I burnt the shit out of these. Fun fact:
that's
you get to see me.
your headset's got pretty good range. If you're
125 feet.
damn, you got it nailed down.
So, well, that's so I can run off and not have any issues.
But
Yeah, I was
but
like, man, that smells great. Fuck.
but yeah, going. I mean, going back though. I mean, like you said that every Friday, Saturday night is, or we're I've been kind of absent for the most part, but there in a little bit we're playing games, and we have each other to kind of still bullshit and chat with and have a few drinks and good times, and talk shit to each other. And there's some people who don't have that at all, and they're
They
confined to
don't.
their wherever, and they can't go out, and it's got to be like when I think about it, it's like
The struggle is real.
yeah, like fuck, like you don't have no social interaction. You what do you go to the grocery store and just run back home as fast as you can? It's like God. And just
Well,
have
the
Netflix to
gamers,
entertain you? I mean, it's
they,
tough.
it's very tough. The gaming community, I think, because, and I say the greater gaming community from 12, 8, fucking 5 at these points to 50, 60, 70 years old. I think they've kind of got it. They're like, okay, I'm still hanging out with people that I can have a meaningful reaction with. We're still talking, we're still having a good time,
Mm-hmm.
but we're not able to tell people like if you don't game, like my lady is a perfect example of people who don't game. If if you put a brand new television with an Xbox and Xbox, it's not gold, it's the what's the
Series
better one?
X.
No, what's the upcharged version that you can
Game
download all the
Pass?
games? So Xbox Game Pass, PlayStation's version of Game Pass, PS5, all that hooked into a 240 hertz refresh, 8K TV,
Don't give two
like
shits.
fucking flowing and going. The fuck is she gonna do? Because she doesn't have any friends that she talks to that would be interested in that either. Like
For sure.
you could literally buy all these people that, and they would look at it like, well, what do I do with this? Because they enjoy being outside. They enjoy being with people physically or not, like, having their own self time. And I think a lot of introverts are having, I want to call like a threshold of maximum self help time.
Sure.
But there needs to be some sort of interaction that breaks that up, because now you're getting almost like people are becoming hermits.
Yeah.
And you do one of two things. Either you say, fuck quarantine, I'm out, I'm going to do what I want, live my life, or they're becoming so sullen that it's almost a, you know, an anti-health perspective.
Hmm. Well, with generation,
And
was it Generation Z, I? Well, some of them called them I because of the iPhone, but they were the whoever, what year ever it is, to actually have a phone in their pockets at all times. Whereas we, like, I was 16 when I got my.
16,
I
yep.
think I was 16 when I got my finally got my license and I got my a Nokia brick. I
Dude,
think you could text
say
on
what
it
you will.
and
Dude,
call.
you could text on it. You could also throw it across the
Yeah, nothing.
universe.
Yeah, and it'd be spot, not a scratch, dude. But you know, and texting wasn't really cool then. Nobody texted, and like, but
It was
now,
like, yo, like was basically it was the text version of call me. Like, yo,
yeah, like, hey, what's up? Call me. What are you doing? And
yeah.
then, but so now it's just like some people are okay as long as they got a screen in front of them, and yeah, I mean, I'm probably
Yeah.
pretty addicted to my phone. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'll be sitting there watching a movie, and all of a sudden, like, oh, what the fuck happened to this guy? Let me check out. And then all of a sudden, I'm googling stuff. Like, oh, I missed half the movie already. Fuck.
Yeah.
And but my point is, yeah. I mean, I think now are we kind of in the middle of that? We got balance because we know, like, all right, too much phone is
I
too
don't think
much,
we're in
but
the
we know how to
balance
still go have
of
some
the
social
phone.
interaction with,
Well,
even though it might be video games or.
people haven't figured it out yet. They've not gotten to the balance of this is my socially responsible distance versus the checks I go through. And it's, again, nowhere in the US. I think certain places in Europe are like, hey, we're doing a much better job. And then China's like, fuck you, you get a new version of the virus. But it's,
Do you really think China made the virus?
yeah,
Really?
yeah, absolutely.
I still go back and forth with it. If it actually came out of a lab from Wuhan or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do I believe that this is a virus that was made in China that escaped from it? Yes.
Or did it just
And
it just escaped randomly? You think, or they actually were just like, ah, fuck it, throw it out there, see what happens.
I would say let's fucking throw it out there. I mean, you have a virus that has, again, a 99.7% survival rate,
Mm-hmm.
and then you send it out into the world, and you're like, fuck it. If a few million people die, I mean, that's,
So
from what I've seen, it's very Chinese.
so you do think it was man made in a lab?
Yeah.
Huh.
I mean, you mean to tell me that eating a raw bat has caused the virus?
I mean, I'm not disagreeing. Just I'm still kind of on the fence about it. Like,
Well, hold up. I'm not saying you're disagreeing. I'm just saying, like, we've heard two stories.
mm-hmm.
It was man-made,
Right,
or some dude that ate a raw bat gave us all the virus.
right.
Which one of those sounds like it may be more plausible?
Well, there's probably some idiot out there who decided to eat a raw bat.
Oh, if you told me some dumb bastard was out there eating raw animals, I'm good.
It
Like,
happens all the time.
not a doubt. There's not a doubt in my mind. Now, if you told me that that person was responsible for a global pandemic versus Wuhan, China, having a lab that synthesized a virus that would be distributed with, like, I mean, the amount of information that came out of China was super forthcoming, except for when it got to Beijing, and then there's like bloop. Now, is that with China's Operatus Mundi? Yeah, like, they're not gonna say shit. Anyways, like, I mean, the fucking president could go, and they're not gonna tell you for months. But the idea that there was some sort of cross-species contamination from a random bat is the same as the Christian right when they said, "Oh, AIDS came from a guy who was gay that butt fucked a monkey." I don't know. I can't be a part of it.
I'm trying to gather my thoughts on it, man. Like that because the AIDS pandemic was or epidemic was it was scary. I mean, I didn't really live that time, but I remember the first time like it was like like we were talking about basketball
we were
earlier.
there. Like Princess Diana was
Since
one
she
of
had
the
AIDS?
big things. No.
Oh.
One of the big things she did was hug someone with AIDS, and as British royalty, and as much as it's crazy to think like you have a small island that took over everywhere, and everybody said fuck you, but they still care about what their monarchy says. You get this whole experience. But she hugged someone with AIDS. And it was a big step for people saying, okay, it's okay for me to understand that this is a disease, but it's not so contagious that if I care for someone who has it, that I'm going to die by just looking at them.
Mm-hmm.
And like it was a big step for world health. And it's weird to think that the socially biased care of an individual would cause a global understanding and acceptance of what it is to be clean and unclean and exposure, etc. But truly, we live in that kind of world, man.
I remember the first time hearing about AIDS and HIV was when Magic Johnson got it. Received it or however.
He's still around.
And he's still like, but I remember like, oh no, like, he was this greatest sports hero, kind of going back to what we were talking about earlier. And I was like, oh no, like all I understood being however old I was. I mean, I'm sure I don't even remember.
You're fucking 5, man.
Yeah, roughly, yeah. And I was like, oh no, he's dead. He's gone. And that kind of was the narrative for it was that, oh no, he got it from a gay guy. And
yeah.
Then we found out, well, it's just not in the gay community.
No, because it wasn't that he got it from gay guys, because Magic Johnson was throwing pipe to every female in a 500-mile radius.
Exactly. Have you ever do you know who Jose Canseco is?
I may have heard of baseball.
Okay. So yeah, he was a famous baseball player. He juiced up and all that. But anyway, his book Juiced. He actually has a quote in there like, if you want to find like the best, I'm going to butcher this, so if anybody's listening, don't fight me on it. But anyway, it's like if you want to find the best athletes, go to the best strip joint in the city that they're playing in.
Dude.
So I mean, yeah. I mean, but it's so hard, like with Tiger Woods and stuff. Like you have women like just throwing themselves at you, and it's like, how do you fight the temptation?
You're physically attractive. You have a ton of money, and you think that women aren't going to be like,
yeah, and you're the top person in your game, and you're just nobody's going to say, nah, that dude sucks.
Well, there's not going to be a point that women say, I hate alphas. Now there's obviously women that are with their men, and their men may be alphas in their mind. They may not be. Their settling happens all over. Men and women do their settling and their whatever. I'm not talking about this. I'm talking about single people seeking a mate. Genetically speaking, you are looking for the alpha. You're like the best you can get. If you're a female, I'm going with the male to female ratio because I don't know much, if anything, about female athletes and how they're approached by guys. So I'm going with the opposite. So you have women who have spent a long time dedicating themselves to their physical appearance, their ability to be articulate, mentally expansive. They've got their own degrees and stuff, but they also know that in the current society to live in, it's great to hook onto a guy that is extremely wealthy. Because again, like, why marry down? We can marry up. You're going to get a lot of cream of the crop. Cream floats up, man. Like if you're at the top of your game, you're gonna get a lot of cream floats up. Like you're gonna get a lot of like exceptional women. Like you're not talking about women like, haha, I'm cute. Look at my boobs. Like you're talking about women that are like, oh my god, hot, like smoking hot. Like what'd you do? Well, I actually just got my my bachelor's at MIT. I'm actually a molecular engineer for biology and cellular entities, and I just butchered the shit out of that. But I'm saying like you're getting women who have master's degrees that are gorgeous that are coming at you in a way to say, I want to be a part of you in this lifestyle because you are the epitome and I am in that range.
Right.
It's incredible. I mean, absolutely incredible. Like these guys that, I mean, maybe speaking to women before they got famous that were, I mean, I don't want to quantify people, but let's say like, A through F. Maybe they're talking through and with somebody that's in a good, strong C game. And they were in a good, strong C game. And everybody's like, we have a similar demographic, similar mindset, et cetera. Well, then all of a sudden, boom, they jump up to A and they have access to A. Like, how do you make the sort of choice of like, it's, and this is why, judging someone like Arnold Schwarzenegger, judging someone like Tiger Woods, how do you get to the point that you say, oh, because your situation and your options have changed, you're a shitty person? I don't know. I don't know.
Do you know what? I think it's called assertive mating.
You know what? Finally, you got me. I have no idea what this is.
So I think it's kind of going off what you said though. So like and I might be fucking this up, but so if if a woman with a PhD,
this is the after show, dude. Don't worry about it.
Okay, yeah, you're right. So if a woman, in my experience, so let's say they're 6 foot tall, they're always going to go find a mate who is 6 foot ish taller or right there at
one.
Yeah, and it's like with women with with PhDs too, they're not really going to go after anybody who has, they might go after a bachelor's degree, yeah, but that they're kind of going to look into it like an equal amount of what they've lived their values and morals of life of being. So, like me being whatever 5'7" on a tall day, like
hold up, throw up 5'7", strong 5'7".
Yeah. Oh. So, no, I remember being at a bar one time, and I walked up to a girl, and this was, I think I was, you remember Dustin and Brendan, Dustin Cooper?
Little bit.
Yeah, okay.
Oh.
Shout out to them if they listen.
What are we talking about?
Cooper Loop.
Fucking Coop?
Coop and Loop, baby. I think it's his birthday today.
Coop. Dude, let me holler at Coop because he was like, hey, I went home with a girl last night. We would all say, yeah, Coop. We started to go, oh. I remember every time. Oh. Every time.
No, all right. that is good. That is true. But anyway, shout out Dustin Cooper. But anyway, we were at a bar one time. I think we were actually in Winston-Salem. There was a bar down there called Johnny and June's at one point. I don't know if it's still there. But anyway, I walked up to a girl, and instantly, I think I may have said this, got hey out or something like that. And she's like, you're too short for me. Yeah, and that was like my reaction too. I was like, so anyway, it's just like, and that's just part of the
your reaction should be like,
if I could do that, but no, it was just like, oh, so that's just what women are looking for,
I mean,
and I kind of do, I get that, but it kind of sucks at the same time, but I'm pretty sure that's what assertive mating is that they're always looking for somebody. They just, there's almost standards to it. They just don't.
Hold on, I'm gonna throw out the most offensive thing ever. All right, assertive mating. 5'7", good-looking dude, built out, CrossFit all the time.
Oh shit!
Shit
Who's
on
that?
lock. All right, hold on. That. I mean, I know a dude, but what I'm saying is, it's incredible, and I like to see how the internet is kind of flexing back. It's like, how tall are you? Well, I'm this. How much do you weigh? Why does that matter? Bitch. Like, I mean, how are you going to go and come at somebody for their height and their weight not matter? And women have been, taught this body positivity. I support it. I think body positivity is great. It's like you are the body that you have. Now, hold on. I don't want you to throw out a body positivity for unhealth. I think that if you're a fat fuck and you can't get around, I'm not body positive. Like you're unhealthy. Lose weight, first of all. And if that hurts somebody's feelings, fuck them. They'll be all right. But what I'm saying is that certain people are built certain ways.
Mm-hmm.
I'm tall. And I mean, I'm not the tallest guy I know. I'm not the shortest guy I know. 6'5". Boom, we're going to throw out numbers. 5'7", 6'5". Your dick's bigger than mine. It's cool.
No
But
big
what I'm
deal.
saying, I mean, hey, I love it, baby. I'm swinging eight. My favorite Chris Sheeler statement, and I use it all the time. My girlfriend still tells me, she's like, "You're not swinging eight." I was like, "Shut up. I love you."
No, two thoughts on that. I googled just to make sure I wasn't fucking this up. The sword of maiden is a mating pattern and form of sexual selection in which individuals with similar phenotypes mate with one another more frequently than would be expected under a random mating pattern. Some
Fair.
examples of a similar phenotype of body size or skin colorization or pigmentation.
That actually makes sense. It's like I'm looking for someone that falls with them.
Falls in
And now you're
within. Okay, keep going. Sorry, I was just thinking out
all
loud.
right. Well, yeah, it falls within the social stereotypes.
Yeah, it's like it says observable characteristics for
Yeah.
some issues.
Well, observable
Religion,
characteristics.
cultural, or ethnic persons, or professional interests.
Well, religion and personal are actually two things. And again, this is social. What is it? Todd Snyder, conservative Christian,
Todd
right
Snyder.
wing Republican, straight white American male, and that's been the global viewpoint of like the epitome of what it is for a woman to seek. And I've known people and have said, "Oh, I don't think that that's entirely genuine. I find mm, characteristics outside of that stereotype to be what I'm looking for." I'm like, that's great. This is just a song by a guy that's saying it because of the social stereotypes they're in, based on the global purview.
Yeah.
It's and thinking about how you go to a bar when we could still go to bars, right? We just talked about that a minute ago.
Mm-hmm.
But meeting people, discussing with other individuals what we can do. You know what? Honestly, maybe that's our end. We'll do a virtual bar.
Well, that's what a lot of people do now. They have like a virtual happy hour with
No, well,
quarantine. They get
I
on
mean,
Zoom or
but you know those people. You know those people. Like we should do a virtual bar, man. Like
what?
just
What do you mean, like a chat roulette kind of thing?
kind of.
Remember
Yeah,
chat
you know what?
roulette?
Dude, you say that? Like what it do?
I forgot about it, dude. But until you just said that,
Yeah,
though.
I had no idea. What the fuck is a chat roulette?
So it was back. I forgot. Maybe late mid 2000s. But anyway, like you would. It's almost kind of like a Tinder and dating app. But anyway, you would log into a huge chat room.
Yeah,
And you would just start talking to people, and you would hit next if you didn't like them or whatever.
yeah, fuck
And,
off.
and like half the time, there's just people just jacking off on there.
I mean, it's like, look, I want to
That's
stare
doing
at
like
it and
that's
be
like
like,
that's probably the origin of dick pics.
it's like, you think you can do it now?
But
Can you do it now? Get off now!
there's a lot of sick
So-
fucks out in the world, though. But I think
Oh.
that's what was going on. That was chat roulette. So like when you say virtual bar, I mean,
Well, that is chat roulette. Well, hold on. I mean, other than like dick in hand, it is chat roulette, and I think that people are consciously and subconsciously figuring out we meet people. Full stop. We meet people. But how do you meet people? Well, I meet people in email, online, on Facebook, in a bar, at the supermarket, at the gas station. Like, there's so many ways we meet people.
mm-hmm.
But it's like, well, what do you want your interaction to be? And you get this idea of like, I'm going to have this as a theme, and people can come and join in, and maybe they have a camera like this, like, hey, this is my avatar, and they come up and say hi. And you know what? You see a girl, she has a cute avatar, you go up and say hi. There's tons of ability for a lion trap, because tell me, there are women who will go out and they will wear no makeup and they're sexy and fine. And
For
there's
sure.
women who will go
Natural,
out
baby.
natural. There's women who go out and they're like, Jesus fucking Christ, this is a remodel that wears away with the next rainstorm. Like, not what you think you're going to get. And that's how it is. You're always going to get that. You're going to get your people that are like, well, if you can't handle me at my worst, don't accept me at my best. And
I've
then
seen
show you
that.
their best, and then be like, F you. But I think we're figuring out very much. Actually, I'm gonna throw this out. I want you to throw this into the extras.
You got something else?
Yes, sir. Let's see here.
What is it? What are you throwing out?
So I'm gonna throw it out there. People should realize that Ready Player One,
That's a good movie.
it's a great movie, but here's my thing. Uh, you should immediately understand that Ready Player One has a dark side.
What do you mean?
Well, imagine you can create and do anything. They show you all of the glamorous, high end, super fun stuff that you can do, but they don't show you all the subverse, the perverse, the people that are having immediate dopamine hits because they're joining. Like, that has to exist. They're trying, like, the only big bad is the monetization of the entire environment, but the environment itself can have good and bad things.
That's deep. Say it again. The I
I'm
like
saying
that.
the entire environment can have a monetization, but the individual aspects can have a perversion that is monetarily spoken for. So, I mean, you think about, all right, let's look at our great, big, beautiful cities:
New
Las
York,
Vegas, New York,
L.A.,
London, um,
Seattle,
Tokyo. Um, all of these places have everything
Paris.
you'd want. They have, we use the same universe, high speed internet. We have access to clean water,
It's the best times to be
plenty,
alive.
plenty of food, best time to be alive, everything you need. But it also has, drugs, um, non-consensual sex. When I say non-consensual, like, we have strip clubs, and strip clubs are, again, a male predominant. You tell him, dog, male
Shut up.
predominant. I didn't know he was swung that way, but all right.
Dude's getting excited about this topic. Keep going.
But strip clubs are a male predominant and large city dominant perspective. But a strip club is in large, and I won't say entirely, but it's in large a consensual experience. There's a lot of gray area,
I agree there. There's a lot.
and that's a separate topic. But again, like, you get into these areas where you have access to people, places, things, and opportunity, and you have the best of both worlds. And so you get, again, the idea that the entire neural network is for people who want to go in and invest a few hours to make money and live their best lives, has nothing to do with the idea that there's people who would go in there and want to live in an opium den until they physically decayed.
Damn.
Tell me I'm wrong.
Huh. Never thought about it like that.
I mean, it's I won't. I've not played the game. I won't talk shit about it. Cyberpunk 2079 or whatever it is.
2077. I've been playing it. 2077.
Yeah. I mean, it's it's incredible to think that again, there's all this opportunity, but I think well, to kind of play it back for people that have seen more mainstream media. If you've seen what's that Christopher Nolan sleep movie? Help me
Tenant.
out here. No, the other one, the old one.
Tenant. The Dark Knights. Oh,
Uh,
with Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
yeah.
Inceptus and
Yeah, no, in Inception.
Inception. There you go. Good call.
So, so Inception, there are people, and the guy that's like, oh, if I kick over a chair, you'll wake up. But he literally deals with people that all they want to do is sleep in a fantasy. Like, that dude runs a fucking heroin den, and nobody addresses the fact that, like, holy shit, like, you're dealing with a heroin den pimp. Nobody's sitting there like, oh, if you kick over a chair, he's a good guy. Like, he literally deals, and if you notice, he deals with he's like, oh, it only wakes you up if you're kicked over in a chair. And every single person that you see behind him is laying down on the floor. Let that fucking sink in. If you tell me he's not a pimp,
Fuck.
yeah,
Fuck, dude.
yeah, dude, it's crazy shit.
Now I gotta go back and rewatch that movie now.
Yes, sir.
Wow, I never looked at it in this perspective.
Yeah, and it's part of why I brought in earlier to the Dave Chappelle conversation. It's people are told, put your hand in here, and if you just let go, it wouldn't be a big deal. But it's like, oh, I'm trying to grab, and now people are gathering all your information, your data, because you want it.
Well,
He's a man of the times.
he's a
And
smart guy, and like what he does do recently with HBO and Netflix. He's like, no, pull my shit off, y'all. So if I want to go get paid or whatever, is that what he was doing?
probably
It was like licensing fees. Like HBO Max had the old Chappelle shows, and I think Netflix put them on there too.
Chappelle's show.
Yeah, and like I mean, I respect him for it, but there was something going on. He was not getting his fees or what were paid for them having it on there, which I don't understand how they put him on there without his consent anyway. But yeah, they took him down because he was like, nah, y'all can't do that.
Yeah.
But-
I'm cutting off my automated game.
Your automated game.
Play some me. Yeah, dude. I play. Hold on. I play Raid Shadow Legends.
Oh, well, I had some stuff going on in the background there. I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, so I stopped it because I had some shit going automation style, and I was like, well.
Gotcha. Well, should we wrap the post show up, or
Oh, post show. Post show is post show.
I think we went further in the post show than we did in the original.
We did, and that's the whole.
We had some good topics.
Dude, the whole point of a post show is to be able to chat, relax, kind of not have a formula and just go with it. I think that is going to be like if you can keep the post show as a lengthy like 1 hour, 2 hours, whatever, people are going to watch it. They care, but to have your show sub an hour, preferably 30 to 40 minutes.
Uh-huh.
And that way what you're getting is people that watch your show like, okay, great. Let's say they're feeling the vibe. Like, James and Sarah, they're feeling it. and they're like, you know what? There's a post show going, and they click in, they're watching it, they're having a good time. They're like, all right, you know what? This is some good shit. But if you're watching it and you're not feeling the show, then the after show isn't going to be for you. But
Huh.
you're going to get more consumption from a 30 to 40 minute show than for an hour and a half.
Hmm.
It's all about consumption, man.
I mean,
It's
I agree with you. I mean, I look at all these analytics now and like YouTube algorithms. Well, I don't really know what their algorithm is, but they give you analytics when you post stuff, on YouTube, and then when you post it on Spotify and Apple and all that good stuff. And
right.
but I really don't really know what the hell I'm looking at because I'm still trying to I don't get it. It's usually
Well, you're still learning.
yeah, and it's still like average view, how many views. There's a lot of impression stuff is what they call it.
Right.
And I'm still just trying to figure that out, and like jumps, like I guess people click the stuff, and when they say impressions, I don't know, like, but like you said, I'm still learning it, and what people are, and I don't know if it. I'm also learning that I'm a avid podcast listener. Like when I'm by myself and not doing anything at all or whatever, I got a podcast in, or I'm listening to somebody,
Right.
and so. There's a lot of people who do not listen to his podcast as much as I do, I guess. And obviously, because my lifestyle, when I'm at work, I'm fortunate enough to have a podcast in while I'm sitting here doing my thing where other people who can't do that. And that's what I'm like, oh, yeah, this is not growing. But like, if somebody comes up to me and says, yeah, I listened to episode 3, and I was like, oh, well, that was 5 weeks ago or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I get that, but it's just, oh, well, you're behind where with people who I listen to a lot. Like, I try to stay current.
Yeah. But it's like, well, why did you listen to that one? And it's like, what did they tag to bring in?
And that's another good thing. Like, it'll show you, like, your most viewed video for a certain, what?
Hold up 1 second. I'm gonna leave the meeting. I got the call. Hold up.
Oh, shit.